More questions on this huge parsha?
It calls a hanging person a curse of God. And I'm wondering why it refers to them in that way. Like, why not just not hang them at all then?
Right. Okay, so I'm going to also answer you from the outside in. So the idea of taking down the body of somebody who was executed by the court and not letting them hang for a long time, this is one of the places from which there are hints at the regard that we have to show any dead body. So there are all sorts of halachot concerning how to deal with death. So what I'm going to first do is run you by the outside, and then we'll talk about the inside, which will relate to your question. Let's say you work for Hatzalah. Do you know what Hatzalah is? So, there are sirens, and you hear them, and, all of a sudden your phone is ringing, and they say, get to the corner of, and you get on your motorcycle, and you're there with your emergency kit, and people immediately begin. What's the first thing you do in an accident?
Look.
Triage. Okay, everybody has these little stickers. Have to, like, if someone's dead, black, if they could be helped now, red, if they could wait until later, yellow. Okay, triage them first. Okay, so you immediately go to people who are red, yeah? And you fail. It doesn't happen. It was too hard. Too much blood was spilled. You can't save this person. They die. Okay, yeah? Could this happen? One of the worst that we have an acquaintance who volunteers. All the Hatzalah people are volunteers, by the way, who volunteers for Hatzalah. He went to a suicide. Somebody jumped off a high floor and was still alive when he got there. And it was a woman. Her last words were, "I changed my mind." Could you imagine that? It was just like, so. What? Yeah. And here it's less popular because Hatzalah here is smaller than in America. But in America, actually a friend of mine who went to school with me, organized the whole women's Hatzalah. So there are 2 Hatzalah numbers. If you want a woman, you call one number. If you want a man, you call another number. Okay, but here it's much less organized. Okay, in fact, when there was the terror attack 2 years ago here in Har Nof, a woman was one of the people who was one of the first responders. Okay, but in any case, moving on. So what do? The person's dead. You can't help them medically. So the first thing that you're supposed to do is, even if you don't know the person, is if it's possible at the scene, like in the description I gave you, the person should go on and help others, but pretend there was nobody else. You should tear your clothes. Because even if you don't know the person and they're not a relative, if you're there, mamash, at the moment of death, then you should feel something for that the world has lost whatever this person brings in. Next thing, the body is meant to be transported to where it'll be taken care of before the funeral. What has to be done for the body? So the body is taken usually to a funeral place, although that's artificial. It's a 20th century innovation. It was usually to their own home or whatever, where the body is washed, okay, and there are regulations of how to do that. It uses a great deal of water. Okay, they also have mikvahs for the dead that are not used by living people, not used by living people, not used by living people, not used by living people. I thought you should know that.
Mikvahs for the dead.
Yeah, because of the amount of water that you have to use, it's easier to immerse the body than it is in a small place like a bathtub to clean them. Okay.
But the concept of a mikvah and the dead, it's like pure
and impure. So this is more an issue of convenience, and it's an issue of convenience, and also the idea of returning the soul to a higher place in purity. Then the dead person is clothed in garments that are called tachrichim, which are very simple garments, just like for decency. So it's like a sheet that has a front and a back that's sewed together loosely, with arms that are also sewed together loosely, just basting, no fancy stitching. So the reason why people are clothed in that is that in death there shouldn't be any difference between rich and poor. Everybody gets the same outfit. Then the body is wrapped in a talus, whether it's a woman or a man, and then it should be taken to wherever eulogies will be held. Eulogies are speeches about the life of the person who died. So sometimes it's a funeral home, sometimes it's a synagogue, sometimes wherever the eulogies are held. And you're supposed to bury the body as soon as is feasible. So the holier the place, then the more swift the funeral should take place. So in Yerushalayim, it has to be within 24 hours. Okay, other places they could wait for people to arrive. Okay, clear? So that's how you treat the dead. So you could say the person's dead. Why? Like, what difference does it make? Why not just like put the body in the dumpster and like, you know? Okay. So why do you think in virtually all societies people ritualize death? Why do you think people do this?
Show appreciation for the body that has the soul.
Okay, because the soul found expression through the body. A soul without a body has no means of expression. The body is also the person. Okay, so the body therefore is shown respect. Okay, so now taking this to the executions, which is really your question. So the executions, which took place extremely infrequently, because a person has to be a real idiot to do a death penalty crime in front of two valid witnesses who warned them. Okay, so it's a very infrequent thing. But the deaths were meant to look horrible without being horrible. Do you understand what I mean? Like the deaths themselves were very swift, but they were meant to be visually horrible. Why do you think they were meant to be visually horrible?
To dissuade people from doing it.
Okay, to dissuade people from doing it by showing them that this is what God thinks of how destructive this deed is, whatever the deed is.
I don't know, stoning kind of seems like it's not that quick.
No, the way stoning worked, I didn't take you through all 4 deaths? Okay, I want to tell you what they are so you'll know what I'm talking about. The person would be placed on a building of at least several floors, pushed off, and the people throw stones as they fall to the ground, which has to have jagged rocks. So the stoning also is like minutes. Okay, not like what you see on these horrible clips in Islamic countries where, okay, whatever. Okay, so that was one form of death. Another form of death was choking, which wasn't some person going like this. There was a double noose on the person's neck, and 2 hangmen pulled from both sides, so their neck was, again, it was like seconds, and their neck was broken. Another one was a beheading. Another one, which also takes like little time. And another one was burning, which isn't putting someone on the stake and burning them. It was heating metal and forcing them to drink it, so they die instantaneously, but it looks horrible. Okay, clear? So these deaths were meant to look horrible, but not be long. And the person was drugged before they went through the death itself. That's, you know, the custom of people saying l'chaim? The way this comes from, I hope this won't change your mind about drinking, okay, is that in earlier times before the person was sentenced to death, they put something in liquor that would like desensitize them. It would put them sort of half out. So they would drink it, and the person would say, "Well, this is to your death." You know. So now when you give somebody liquor, you say l'chaim. There's no death potent in here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that's so it's meant to look horrible, but not necessarily be horrible. So part of the looking horrible is that the person's body had to be hung afterwards for people to see what had happened to this person. But only till nightfall. And the reason why, and this is the part that's especially important for you to hear, is because it says that it's a desecration of God, because in the end, no matter how low a person falls, the fact that they had a soul still gives them a certain level of significance. So the parable that Rashi gave, did you read the parable? Tell them the parable.
Something about, if there's a king's twin brother hanging, people will think it's the king.
Yeah. Okay. So if you see a human who failed, people will say humans fail, the spiritual soul doesn't prevail, they'll end up cursing God.
Yeah.
So because of this, proper respect to a body is also a way of stating our belief in God's transcendence and power and compassion. So that's it for now.